Cooking Master Paul here, and today we are celebrating the Atari 2600. Yes, on September 11th, 2017, the 2600 turns 40. So I thought I would dredge up my torrid past, throw on the old Food Network jacket, and make an Atari 2600 cake. Let's get started on this cake. Put on my old Food Network colors, huh? My old competitor chef's coat. In a past life, I was on Food Network. Did a couple of challenges, had my own cake shop, and so I thought I'd dredge up those old skills and make a tribute Atari 2600 cake for their 40th anniversary. So just as it is, this console is pretty cake-like. I mean, it's basically a slab with some decorations on it, not unlike John Hancock. And so all I really need to do is to shape it. I'm gonna cover it with fondant and then just add the details. So it shouldn't be too difficult. But anyway, let's start carving up some cake.
So we start with a great big sheet cake and just start cutting it down to Atari size. Really important to get the measurements right here, so I'm using my food grade tape measure. Use a little cream cheese frosting to get in the middle and then start cutting in the details. That's super important to get them right now because you can't go back once you roll that fondant on. Smear it all up, get it ready, and roll out the fondant. And here I'm using the internationally recognized vodka bottle rolling technique. I highly recommend you empty the bottle first, preferably the previous night. Trimming it up all purty and ready for the next stage.
Okay, so we got the fondant on the cake. We rolled it out, lay it on top, and it's a little warm in here, so it's a little bit on the squishy side. I'm gonna let it set for a bit. Set for a bit. Sound like we're in Vegas. I'm gonna let it sit for a bit. Haha, language. And then I'm gonna start adding the rest of the details.
So here's one of the sneakier techniques, or tech sneaks, in doing wood grain on cake. It's actually really easy. You put down some white fondant and then just take brown food coloring and paint it on. Now as it starts to dry, it starts to melt the sugar in the fondant and your brush pulls it into kind of a wood grain finish. It's super easy and it looks really, really good. I actually learned this one from Duff Goldman at Charm City Cakes when I was there years and years ago. Now, of course, we have to get those ridges that are on the Atari, so I had to do all these by hand individually and lay them out. It worked a lot better just to eyeball it than actually measure it or use a straight edge. It was weird. And here's where I get to break out my piping skills, which never were that good, and boy am I rusty. So this came out a little shakier than I really wanted. And then when I got to the switch labels, it was tough too, not just because they were small, but because it was a weird focal range for my laser eyeballs. Pew-pew! But here you have it, the finished cake. I'm actually pretty damn happy with this. Despite my rustiness, it came out good. And I had enough time to do a couple of controllers as well, just to add to the whole effect. So here's the Atari 2600 that Metal Jesus loaned me as a model to base my cake on. And here's the cake itself. It looks like a cake. It's not as crisp as plastic, but it's much, much tastier. Now I wanted to add a little bit of sparkle to the cake, so I used a pearl sprayer. It got on a little bit thick, but I like the effect.
Ta-da! This is your birthday song. It isn't very long. Hey! Happy birthday, Atari 2600. I know it's your 40th and you're still going strong. I know there's a lot of people out there that are still programming for this machine. Well, for not this one, because this one's cake. Now, I had a great time making this cake. That's a little bit of a lie. I had fun, but it was a struggle, I must admit. It's been a while since I put on the old Food Network jacket and made some cakes, and some things didn't come out quite the way I wanted to, but hey, it's me. I always want perfection. But other than a few trials and tribulations, I'm pretty damn happy with this, and hopefully it's a fitting tribute on its 40th birthday. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and drink more and eat cake, because the cake right here is not a lie. The game is a lie. The cake's real. Cheers. The other great thing about doing this project is that Mrs. DMP got cake.
Cake!
A butt ton of cake.
Cake!
In fact, I made the cakes a day ahead of time so they can firm up in the fridge, and she made me cut a slice out of it because cake. She loves cake, and I love her. So yes, a special cocktail, since you ask. It's pretty. That's another show. You play your cake and eat it too. Not bad. Not bad at all.
Watch out for the pitfalls of eating too much cake.
I'm cake powered. Actually, it's pretty good.
Good. Not surprised. I bet it's very moist and delicious.
Mm-hmm.